This is Jack with Easy Cash Buyer, giving you a call about the link you filled out on our website. Looks like you're looking for a cash offer. Is that correct?
Yeah, what do you got? What's the number?
Hey, well, I appreciate you filling out the form. Before I can give you a number on your property, I would just like to know a little bit more about it. Could you tell me a little bit about your property there on 123 Main Street?
Yeah, well, it's a 3-2. We bought it maybe 10, 15 years ago. We put in some new appliances then and some upgrades, and it's in good condition. We re-roofed it about 7 years ago.
Okay.
What else do you need to know?
No, it just looks like it's in a great neighborhood, Chris, and we've bought a couple properties in that neighborhood. If I was living in Putnam Heights, I don't know why I would ever want to move. Why are you even thinking about selling your house, Chris?
We're looking to just leave the area.
Okay. And what's the most important part of that? You looking to downsize? Do you maybe have grandkids, that have been born? Like, are you trying to move for work? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so the kids have graduated, and we're just downsizing a bit. It's a little bit too much home, and my daughter needs some help with college, so we're gonna give her some help with the cost for college.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that's kind of you to share. And what would you say is the, most important thing when making this move? Would you say it's how quickly you can get the money or how much money you can get?
I'd say a little bit of both.
Okay, awesome. What I'm seeing currently for what investors have been paying for properties like yours in your neighborhood, and I want to preface this, but this may not be what we're going to pay. It may be more or less. But what I'm seeing, if I look at our research here, looks like they're paying right around $150,000 for properties like yours, as is, no commissions, no cleaning up, no repairs. How do you feel about that number?
That would never work.
Okay. Well, do I have the permission to tell you a little bit about what we do?
Sure.
So not only do we buy properties as is for cash, like the advertisement that you saw online, we also are real estate agents, and we run a full service brokerage where we can help sell your property on the open market to get you top dollar. So provided the opportunity, I can come out, meet with you and your wife. I can show you both options, and then we can help you make a decision and to see which one would serve you the best.
Okay.
Now, would you be able to tell me a couple more things about the property, possibly like if you have any debts that are held against it? Do you have anything that you'd have to pay off for you guys to move?
And how would that fall into this?
Well, typically to sell a property, we have most homeowners have mortgages against the property or other debts that are held as liens against the property. And for you to sell your property and move, you will have to pay off those debts. So I know that it can seem like somewhat an intrusive question, but it is important for the sale of your property. And, it's information that we need to help serve you best.
Yeah, we still owe. I don't know the exact amount at the moment. I'd have to look it up, but yeah, we still have a mortgage that we're paying.
Okay, awesome. And when you do sell this property and move, are you going to be using the proceeds from this sale to help you purchase the next property, or do you think you're going to rent?
Yeah, we're going to be using the proceeds to buy something smaller.
Okay, awesome.
Hopefully in cash.
Hopefully in cash. Okay. So you have a small mortgage on it. Have you seen any of the properties in your neighborhood that have recently sold on the market?
We were just checking Zillow for now. That's when I ran into your ad, while doing that research somewhere.
Okay, so then I'm sure you're aware you've seen what other properties have sold for and what the market is bearing at top dollar. So would there be a time that I could come out to your property, present you both options, and we could talk more about how we can get you to where you want to go as quick as possible?
Yeah, you don't have an idea as to what that would be now?
So the analogy I like to use, Chris, with just giving you a number over the phone is if a car mechanic were to give you a price on how much it would cost to fix your car, and they have never even looked underneath the hood or underneath the car. So for me to give you the most accurate information, I would have to come out, see the property in person, and then give you your two options, with the information that I can get from that.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. And what do you charge?
I have a flexible commission structure, and based on what your property needs and what you want me to do to help you sell the property, the commission structure ranges. And we provide many services like cleanup, junk removal, power washing, light handyman repairs, and staging, as well as professional photography. So depending on what you would like us to do for you, that changes our commission structure.
Got it. Okay. And you guys are local, or where are you guys from?
Yep, we're local right here in Eau Claire. I'm actually about 10 minutes away from your house, and we just bought a couple properties in your neighborhood in the last couple months.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question, Chris. If I were to come out, present you your options, and you were happy with what you would be netting, in your pocket after the sale of your home, would you be open to possibly hiring me?
Well, yeah, I mean, we'd have to see what you got and what it's going to cost us, and have to run it by my wife.
Well, wonderful. I can present you those options anytime this week. If you'd like to meet tomorrow, I have two slots in my calendar. I have one at 2 p.m. and one at 3 p.m. Would either of those work for you?
The 2 p.m. would probably work better.
Okay, wonderful. So I'll put you down for 2 p.m. And if anything changes, just feel free to give me a call. Will your wife be able to be present tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
Yeah, I'll ask her if she's available.
Awesome. It would really be crucial for her to be there since it looks like you guys hold property jointly. And for you to sell the property in the state of Wisconsin with marital property, you're both going to have to be present, and you're both going to have to sign either the offer to purchase or the listing agreement. So I just want to be straightforward with you, and I don't want to get you in any trouble. Can you make sure that she's there tomorrow?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, perfect. And I'm going to send you over some preliminary information to tell you a little bit more about us, our reviews, our track record, and some families that we've helped serve. What would be your best email?
Chris at chrisperezgroup.com.
Perfect. And can I have your wife's as well?
Yep. Chris at chrisperezgroup.com.
Okay. Thank you. And then I got your phone number here. What's your wife's best phone number?
Yep. It's 305-555-5555.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Well, I will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'll get to meet with you and your wife. We can talk about your options. Thank you for filling out the form, and thank you for your time. Have a nice day.
Likewise. Thank you.
Okay, I probably should have asked if they had any more questions. What else did I forget?
I feel like you could have discovered more. And again, like bridges into some of the more invasive questions, like the mortgage.
Yeah, that was hard. I really punched you at that one.
Yeah, like introduce the subject, ease into it. Something like, hey Jack, my next question is really not to be nosy and intrusive. It's really to help you in the best way that I can and to provide to you a net sheet with all of your expenses so you can have a realistic picture of what you're going to net at the end of the sale. And so to do that, I want to calculate all of your expenses for the most part. And one of the biggest ones that's going to be on your net sheet is going to be how much your payoff on the mortgage might be if you have one. Do you mind if I ask, do you currently have a mortgage?
Perfect. Yeah, I hear people talk about it a lot, Chris, where you say like if you just keep giving those buffers, where you're like, hey Chris, I'm gonna ask you a question that I don't want it to be like you give them all these buffers, you can almost ask any question and it not sound mean, right? Or
Correct.
too direct. So and I hear
Yeah.
Eric say those a lot, and I always am like, sounds wordy to me, but then when he actually talks to you and says it, it's comfortable, it feels comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, the wordiness in that moment in time doesn't really matter because you've already broken them down and having a conversation. And so you're not being wordy for the sake of being wordy or long-winded in a pitch. What you're doing is you're respectfully asking for permission to ask a question that you already know they may feel like it's an invasive question, like it's really none of your business, or you're going to use that information against them. So if you ask them respectfully for permission and give them a reason why you might use that information for their benefit, they're going to understand. They're going to be okay. That sounds reasonable.
Yeah. I was talking to Daniel Carrera,
Yep. Yep.
and he said one of the objections he gave me was like, "Oh, my wife doesn't have to be there." And he was like, "Well, don't tell them, Jack, that their wife doesn't have to be there or has to be there because I need their wife to be there. But relate it back to them and say, for I don't want to get you into any trouble. It's the same thing, right? I want to provide you a net sheet and to serve you best and get you the best information, right? I'll have to
Yeah.
understand what your debts are. And one of the biggest pieces of that is your mortgage. Okay. I like that.
Yeah. And related to the wife, um, it's tricky because some people can get very alpha, very driver about it. Like, no, I mean, like it's my decision. I already know what questions she has, so I'll make sure to ask her if she's got any additional questions. But she's real busy; she's not gonna be able to make it. It's real difficult. So you got to make a judgment call or a business decision. If it's a waste of your time or not. Probably most of the time it would be because you're gonna need her signature anyways if you're looking to make it a one call close or a one appointment close. Um, it might be good to pivot to a Zoom appointment if she's not going to be there. Um, you're young and you're not married, so sometimes I use, yeah, well, I'm married and my wife is an important decision maker in our household and she's got a different opinion and sometimes she comes up with great questions that I wasn't thinking. So I would feel more comfortable for you and for her so that she makes sure that I didn't avoid her, that she was present. I wouldn't want to insult her. Um, and I know she's important to you and as a family to be a decision maker, something to that effect.
Okay.
Um, Again, yeah, those bridges are going to be critical to get some of that other information. I don't have, one of the ones that I have a difficulty asking for is in addition to the actual mortgage, whether they have it financed or not, is then probing as to the payment and interest rate. Those are really good questions to have answered if you do need to get into like a creative situation. So not getting it is going to limit you. You could get it later, but having it up front could be really useful so you can present more options depending on their responses on price and what other information you may have. Um, which also might be important for you to start asking more questions around how long they've owned the property.
When did you buy
Uh,
it? because you kind of know where the rates were at when they bought it then.
The rates or how much equity they may have. Like if they've been there for 30 years, they may have a lot of equity,
Right.
right? So it may not make sense for certain creative deals like a sub two. I'm not an expert, but my understanding is that a sub two needs to have like little equity, but a great rate.
Right.
So those are things to consider. Um, yeah.
Okay. I think I just
What,
need to have more of a conversation like I used to have, but then just have those certain questions in my head, like kind of check them off and then be more conversational and less like, hey,
yeah, I still felt like it was an interrogation versus a conversation.
Mhm.
And some of the best cash offer guys online are really conversational and really consultative. They pull out of the deal once, twice, or several times, indicating that they're really unattached to the outcome, right?
Mhm.
Um, I like the way that you were able to include your traditional real estate services, the retail side, in this call. That was good. Um, so I would definitely keep that alive, but more consultative, less attached, more curiosity.
But then bridging it. So are the bridges just like not to be nosy, I want to provide you with the best possible solutions possible and to do that. Like what else are some other bridges that you use all the time?
Yeah, I'd like to provide you with, all of the options that might be available depending on your particular situation and what you want to achieve. I realize that this might be a question that isn't normally asked, but frankly, most agents are very superficial and they don't like to provide more details in case they're wrong. But I really like you to know what you might be netting at the end of the sale, depending on what type of outcome you want. And so I like to, or rather, I need to know so I can plug in what your payoff might be. There's different creative solutions depending on what kind of outcome you want out of this sale that might require some creative solutions like an investor taking over your loan, in which case your interest rate and payment could be really important to know. Um, if you feel uncomfortable with that information, we can cross that bridge down the road. But again, I don't see myself as a one-trick pony just listing the property or giving you some lowball offer to take your property from you. I'm really here to figure out what's the best way to achieve your goal and guide you.
Perfect. That's a really good one. I don't see myself as a one trick pony. I have multiple solutions to help you achieve your goals. And okay, yeah, okay. I'll have to work on that.
Yeah. So, you know, Jack, most people would just call you up and send you some arbitrary number for your home based off of the information you submitted. Probably submit an offer that's high enough for you to accept and then try to hammer you down once they got you locked up. That's not my intention here from a cash offers perspective, from an investor's perspective. I really want to take an honest approach to it. So that way there's really no renegotiating for any reason. Seeing the home will be helpful in that regard. And then if a cash offer doesn't sound like it's going to work for you, which in this particular case, I don't really think it is, if I'm honest, I think you would benefit more from being on the market and getting a higher value. It sounds like your home's in great shape and it doesn't sound like you have any distress in your current situation. So you might really benefit from being on the market. And in which case, I have some questions to follow up with that can better serve you and show you what you can possibly net from the sale.
Okay. I'm making
Like
notes.
I'm not attached to either outcome.
Yeah.
And most agents would have walked up in here and told you, "Oh yeah, I can sell it for 300," and you'd be stoked. But the truth is that the marketplace is telling us a different story, and I need to show you what that story is. I prefer to earn your business with integrity than to tell you something that I won't be able to deliver, and then you'll be upset later.